We flew to the Greek island of Lefkada from Ljubljana airport with the Croatian airline Trade Air, which took about an hour and a half. Translucent cloud cover partially obscured the bird's-eye views of Dubrovnik and its surroundings on our way to our destination. The Albanian coastal town of Saranda with the beach in the distance. Divjaka Karavasta National Park in Albania. Maya e Kendravas's mountains. The local community of Sagiata in the Ionian Sea and on the border with Albania. Amudia, a small fishing village in the Fanari municipal unit of Parga municipality in the distance. Nicopolis or Actia Nicopolis was the capital of the Roman province of Epirus. Its site near Preveza still has impressive ruins. Here we were already approaching the island of Lefkada. We are approaching Preveza Lefkada Action National Airport.
Spoštovane potnice in potniki, čez nekaj trenutkov bomo pristali. Prosim še enkrat preverite, ali ste pravilno pripeti. Hvala. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall be landing shortly, so please check once again that your seatbelt is properly fastened. Thank you. Spoštovane potnice in potniki, dobrodošli na letališču Preveza Lefkada. Zunanja temperatura je 27 stopinj Celzija. Prosimo, ostanite pripeti vse dokler se letalo popolnoma ne zaustavi in se znak "Prignite se" ne ugasne. Kajenje še vedno ni dovoljeno. Prosimo, bodite pozorni pri odpiranju prtljažnih prostorov nad vami in preverite, da ste s seboj odnesli vse svoje stvari. Zahvaljujemo se vam, da ste za potovanje izbrali slovenski turistični agenciji Palmo in Relax in letalskega prevoznika Trade Air. Želimo vam prijetne počitnice, hvala in nasvidenje. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the airport of Preveza Lefkada. The outside temperature is 27 degrees centigrade. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until we have reached our final parking position and fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Smoking is still not permitted. Be careful when opening the overhead bins and make sure no personal belongings are left behind. Thank you for choosing Slovenian tour operators Palma and Relax and Trade Air. We wish you a pleasant holiday and goodbye.
After completing airport formalities and collecting our luggage, we took a bus from Preveza Lefkada Action National Airport to the Bel Air Hotel in Nidri, 46 minutes away. In this hotel in a room with a balcony. We arrived at the hotel when it was already dark outside. The hotel room was pleasantly cool before our arrival. View from the balcony towards the city promenade and the sea. Use of the room safe is free of charge. Hotel Bel Air from the outside. The Pebble Beach is just a few meters away, across the road right next to the hotel. On this beach, sun loungers and umbrellas are chargeable. Unless you order a drink at the beach bar, then it is free. Otherwise, you have free sun loungers by the hotel pool and you only go here to swim and then return to the sun loungers by the hotel pool. You can rent a rubber dinghy at this mooring. Evening vibes at the port of Nidri. There are many tourist and entertainment boat trips from the town port of Nidri. Sightseeing tours are available during the day, and in the evenings, fun cruises with techno or local music, and the city's pulse before evening falls. And the city's pulse before evening falls. We walked through the late afternoon bustle of the town promenade of Nidri, where we were staying at the Bel Air Hotel. The restaurants were almost full, and in the evening they were packed. Let's take a look at this bustle without comment. This is where the harbor promenade with tourist boats begins. We walked along it just before dusk. From the hotel we drove to see the town of Lefkada, which is only a 22-minute drive from the hotel. The Church of Panagia Tunzinan, Our Lady of the Foreigners, in Lefkada town is a historic church dedicated to the Nativity of the Virgin Mary, built in 1718. So let's take a look at its interior. This church, located in the city center, served as a parish for the island's foreign residents. It boasts a richly decorated, colorful iconostasis and has significant religious and cultural value. We continued our tour of the city through the narrow city streets. Piperia restaurant with pizzas and seafood on the promenade. Lefkada wooden bridge in the distance, which we will walk across soon. Lefkada wooden bridge is a charming and popular pedestrian landmark located in Lefkada town. It's not to be confused with the floating pontoon bridge that connects the island to the mainland. This one is a smaller wooden pedestrian bridge appreciated mainly for its scenic and romantic atmosphere. At night, the wooden bridge is illuminated, making the romantic atmosphere even more effective. From the wooden bridge, we walked along the embankment with a road and sidewalk to Agia Mavra Castle, an 18-minute walk away. On the way there, a view of the fish during lunch by the embankment. Since a new bridge has not yet been built after the collapse of the old bridge connecting the island to the mainland, the ferry service has come to the rescue. This is the only way to enter the island from the mainland by land. The queues are therefore quite long due to the alternating one-way flow of traffic across it. Ferry service employees help direct traffic across the ferry so that it runs smoothly. Today, due to the expected increase in arrivals from Preveza Airport from the mainland to the island of Lefkada, controlled two-way traffic via the ferry was exceptionally opened. The island of Lefkada does not have its own airport. Immediately after crossing the ferry, there is Agia Mavra Castle. Below the castle with a view of the lighthouse located on its walls. Entrance to Agia Mavra Castle. Tickets can be purchased at the kiosk in front of the castle entrance. With your ticket you will receive a map of the castle building. Just a few meters away are the toilets, which were in quite poor condition during our visit. I recommend bringing your own food and drinks, as none of the above were available there. Here you pay an entrance fee of €5 for an adult. Agia Mavra Castle is one of the largest and most imposing medieval fortifications in the region. Its strategic position controlled access to the Ambracian Gulf and important maritime routes. Founded, early 14th century, around 1300, by the Frankish noble Giovanni Ioannis Orsini after he acquired the island. Purpose, originally built to protect Lefkada from pirate raids and foreign invasions, it became the main defensive stronghold for the island capital. Successive rulers. The castle passed through Frankish, Ottoman, Venetian, and British hands over the centuries, each leaving architectural influences. The fortress spans a vast area, around 50,000 square meters, and has an irregular multi-bastion layout with thick walls, a moat, and ramparts typical of medieval military architecture. Within the complex stands a small chapel of Agia Mavra, still considered culturally significant and celebrated locally. One bastion was later adapted as a lighthouse during later period. The castle is open to visitors most days, often closed Tuesdays, hours vary seasonally, typically in daytime. It's easily accessible from Lefkada town either by foot or car across the bridge. Today, Agia Mavra is not only an archaeological and historical site but also hosts cultural activities and events celebrating Lefkada's rich past, offering visitors a glimpse into centuries of Mediterranean history. The history of the castle can also be seen in the museum, which is included in the ticket price. The Church of Agia Mavra is a small historic church located inside the castle of Agia Mavra. The castle and church date back to the medieval period, 14th century. The fortification was built by Frankish, Venetian, rulers to defend Lefkada. The church has remained a recognizable feature among the fort's remains. The beach is a little further away, opposite the castle. The next day we drove to visit the Faneromeni Monastery, less than half an hour from the hotel. The Faneromeni Monastery is a historic Greek Orthodox monastery dedicated to the Dormition of the Theotokos, Virgin Mary. It's considered the spiritual heart of Lefkada and acts as a patron saint site for the island's inhabitants. It was originally established in 1634 and has been rebuilt and restored several times due to fires and earthquakes over the centuries. According to tradition, Christianity first reached Lefkada here when disciples of the Apostle Paul preached on the site. The name Faneromeni comes from a legendary revealed icon of the Virgin Mary, considered miraculous and deeply revered. Every year the monastery celebrates Monday of the Holy Spirit, Pentecost Monday, with pilgrimages and festivities. Inside the complex you'll find main church, a place of worship with beautiful frescoes and traditional Greek Orthodox architecture. Ecclesiastical museum, houses rare Byzantine icons, manuscripts, liturgical objects, and religious art. Nautical museum, exhibits historic ship models and maritime artifacts, reflecting Lefkada's seafaring tradition. Botanical garden and mini zoo, a pleasant area with deer, peacocks, turtles, and exotic birds. Panoramic viewpoints, from the monastery terrace you can enjoy striking views of the Ionian Sea and Agios Ioannis Beach. After a free tour of the monastery, there is a beautiful view below it towards the beach of Paralia Agios Ioannis with idyllic windmills, good conditions for kitesurfing and windsurfing, and cafes. On the way back, we stopped at roadside viewpoints and beautiful hidden wild swimming spots. The next day we headed to the southern tip of the Cape to see the famous Cape Lefkatas lighthouse. On the way to the lighthouse, we had a quick look at the village of Vasiliki. Vasiliki is a seaside village on the south coast of Lefkada, about 40 kilometers from Lefkada town. It is one of the most popular holiday destinations on the island, especially for windsurfing. The afternoon thermal winds, Eric, create ideal conditions, making Vasiliki Bay popular with both beginners and advanced surfers. Vasiliki has a pebble beach with clear turquoise water. Calm mornings are great for beginners, while stronger afternoon winds are great for experienced surfers. The beach has sun loungers, taverns, and bars. The atmosphere there is truly relaxed and, above all, friendly to guests. You will have a good meal in the traditional taverns, serving fresh seafood and local Lefkadian dishes. Vasiliki also has a marina with sailboats and yachts, which further adds to its charm. Before arriving in village Vasiliki, we stopped for an iced chocolate in the fishing village of Sivota. Sivota is a traditional fishing village with a natural harbor, surrounded by green hills and pine trees that create a lush landscape. The harbor is a popular port for sailboats and yachts, so the place is often visited by sea lovers and boat charterers. The coastline is diverse, although there is no large sandy beach in the center of town. Nearby coves and beaches are often accessible by boat or a longer walk around the area. Continuing our journey, we also stopped to see the tourist boat stations under the cliff, where they stop for a few minutes to see the beautiful sandy beach, which can only be reached from the sea. We finally arrived at the lighthouse at Cape Lefkada. It is located, the southern tip of Lefkada, at Cape Lefkada Ducato, approximately 50 kilometers from Lefkada town and near the village of Athani. It was built in 1890. It was originally oil-powered, briefly stopped during World War II, and electrified in the mid-20th century. Dimensions of the structure: 14 m high cylindrical stone tower on top of very high cliffs, focal height 70 m above sea level. View. On clear days, you can see neighboring islands such as Ithaca and Kefalonia on the other side of the sea. Access, accessible by car via paved but narrow roads. There is a small parking lot and a short walk to the viewpoint. There is no public access to the lighthouse itself. History and legends: the lighthouse stands on a cape that was known in antiquity as Lefkadas or Kabos tis Kairos, Our Lady's Cape. In ancient Greek tradition, this is the place where the poet Sappho, in Unrequited Love, jumped off the cliffs, a dramatic story that has become part of the mythical aura of the place. Even earlier, the area was home to a temple of Apollo and perhaps ancient rituals related to seafaring and spiritual rites. Why visit? It offers excellent panoramic views and sunsets. The rugged cliffs, endless sea, and western horizon are the perfect spot for dramatic sunsets. It is one of the most photographed and stunning coastal spots in Lefkada. Visiting the lighthouse is free and open to the public all year round. On the way back, we stopped for coffee at the beautiful Panoramic View restaurant above the village of Kalamitsi with a stunning view over the cliff. The next day we went to see the lovely village of Karya, which is located in the middle of the northern part of the island, just 25 minutes away from our hotel. On the way to the village of Karya, we stopped to take in the view of the distant village of Perigiali. Perigiali is a small seaside village on the east coast of Lefkada, in the Ionian Islands. You can leave your vehicle somewhere here and continue on foot to the folklore museum in the village, which is only a few dozen meters away. We first stopped outside the city center to visit the Karya Folk Museum. Parking is possible a few meters in front of the museum. This is a small folk museum in the traditional mountain village of Karya on the island of Lefkada. It is dedicated to local rural life, traditional crafts, and especially the unique embroidery heritage of the area. It is located in a traditional 19th century country house that once belonged to a local family. It exhibits the interior of a typical Lefkadian house, tools and household items from the past, as well as handmade embroidered textiles. The focus is on the karsani stitch, a distinctive embroidery technique pioneered by Maria Stavraka, nicknamed Katsachiro, a one-armed seamstress who taught the craft to local girls, making it an important local tradition. Season and opening hours are usually open daily from 9 to 2100 hours from April to November, may be seasonal. The entrance fee is low, around €2.50 to €4. You will experience a pleasant, personal museum experience that offers insight into life in a mountain village and the cultural significance of embroidery and local crafts in the Lefkadian tradition. We continued with a tour of the charming village of Karya. Karya is a traditional mountainous village located in the central part of Lefkada Island, situated at an altitude of 500 meters. Known as a historic center for lace-making and handicrafts, it features narrow, stone-paved streets, plane trees, and a lively, authentic atmosphere with local tavernas, cafes, and a folklore museum. Key highlights and information. Location and vibe. Situated roughly 20 to 30 minutes by car from Lefkada town or Nidri, it offers a cooler, mountainous retreat from the coastal heat. Culture and traditions. Famous for the Karya lace technique, visitors can see handmade lace and clothes in local shops. Landmarks. The village center is known for its large plane trees, and there is a folklore museum that displays traditional village life. Activities. It serves as a base for hiking trails, and in August, it hosts a traditional wedding reproduction. Cuisine, known for its delicious local food served in the village square, which is popular with both tourists and locals. There is a Greek Orthodox church dedicated to Agios Nikolaos, St. Nicholas, located in Karya, a traditional mountain village on the island of Lefkada. View from the road at the end of the village Karya towards the town of Nidri. Further from the town of Nidri, the islands of Sparti, Maduri, Scorpios and Turles on Lefkada are also visible. A little further down the road in the distance is the town of Lefkada. Finally, take a look at the other direction of the Nidri town promenade from the Bel Air Hotel, from where we saw the first main direction to the town center with restaurants and the town marina at the beginning of the video. In this other part of the direction from the hotel, there are mainly sailboats and catamarans. All of them can be rented. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Like and subscribe to our channel Sean69.